1 year and 17,279 miles, we are back in the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee to do the 1-year review of Ryan's 2024 Jeep Wrangler 2-door. We've got a ton that we did to this, so let's get into it. So obviously this Jeep started life as a base 2-door, base to the point that it had the crank windows, no power locks, you actually still have to use the key to get in, but Ryan bought it with that purpose and what it was going to turn into in mind. This wasn't bought just at random, it was ordered this exact way, and we went and changed out a lot of things. The first thing you got to do to any Jeep, we have a lot of content on all of this, so that's one thing I want to mention before we get started. We've got videos on everything you're going to see behind us, and you can actually go on our 2-door playlist and watch anything in case you missed it. First thing though is creature comforts, right? You want to be in a comfortable Jeep, and we wanted to add on some things. So we added, first off, bullet point phone mount. So we got the wireless MagSafe charger on there. We added a screen protector, and then we actually added a set of the Motobilt Floor Liners, as well as the entry guards too. So we added all that into it. And then a couple other smaller things, Ryan. I can't imagine all of them. Some sunglass holders, some Amazon mods that we put in there. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but those are the first creature comfort mods that we added to it. As we get further into the build onto the interior, we added on a lot more. We're just going to say that. So we started off with an MHF full carbon fiber steering wheel. It's probably the most expensive part that we put onto the Jeep up until that point. And then we changed it up and added a little bit more color inside by adding an American Brothers Designs shift knob, as well as our transfer case selector, that are both in the anvil clear coat with gold accents on it, and it looks tremendous. Next up, we wanted to change out those floor mats. So we changed out the floor mats to a full set of the Armorlite tan interior, specifically for the 2024 2-door. So he's got a full tan waterproof interior. Ryan, maybe you have that clip of you when you were in Hershey and had that torrential downpour and had to pull the plugs. We love our Armorlite floors, and they do an absolutely terrific job at what we've got going on to the interior. Now, the last thing that we've just installed recently kind of sums up the entire build. Ryan's a big audio fan, so we'll give you a quick little shot of what we installed here. We do have a full-length installation video coming soon on both Ryan's Jeep and then mine we did off camera, so you won't be able to see that. But the interior seems to be pretty dialed in. We added on some Primo Workz armrests here. We've got some other things that we've been recently doing, but that's kind of set up in there. I don't think we're going to be doing too much unless we swap out some seat covers or maybe swap some seats in Ryan's Jeep. Now let's talk about the outside, because there's even more going on outside than inside, and it's kind of funny as I'm going through it, I'm actually noticing more things that I want to make sure that we cover. So we'll talk about the exterior. Ryan, why don't we talk about some of the paint matched parts? So we've got a lot of paint match components on this vehicle, and they are all coming from Distinction Applied. One of the biggest pet peeves we had when Ryan picked this up is that although it was a 2024, the base Sport still came with the standard 23 Wrangler grille. It didn't come with the updated grille. So Brian gave us a call and was like, guys, you got to fix that. He paint matched an Anvil 2024 grille, and that was one of the first mods that we put on the exterior. And then we kind of went crazy with paint matching. So we now have a set of the Rubicon Highline fender flares here, front and rear, that Brian also did at Distinction Applied. We did the fender chop too, so we removed the lower portion to give a lot more clearance for those tires. On the exterior as well, all of our badging, all of our Jeep letters, all of our fender vents, and even our hood latches are all Distinction Applied. So you can see we've got some gold on the trail rated badge, gold on the fender vent, gold on the Jeep logo. All of that is Distinction Applied. Then we move on to the center here. We've got Distinction Applied exterior grab handles, and I'll be honest, we have some more color match parts for the inside at home. We haven't had time to install them. And then the color matched Jeep fuel door on the back as well. So what this Jeep is riding on underneath, that's always as important as what's going on the exterior. We had to lift this Jeep up in the air a little bit, right? So Ryan knew that he wanted to run a set of 35-inch tires. The first thing that we did was add a Clayton 1.5-inch ride right suspension system. We added Fox 2.0 shocks, and then we added on more bits and pieces as we went. So we've actually added on more control arms now and a couple more pieces up front to really dial this Jeep in. But we did get it up on a set of 35, so what's nice about this is we put it on a set of 35 by 12.5 Baja Boss Mickey Thompson AT tires, wrapped around a set of 17 by 9 KMC GMS wheels? GRS wheels. Yeah, the KMC has a lot of names for their wheels, but these are on a nice offset to keep them tucked in very nicely. And the all-terrains do very well because they're snowflake rated, as well as a lot of other ratings on them that make them both good on-road and just as good off-road. We didn't stop there though, guys. A major upgrade underneath was made probably in February of this year, and that was the Extreme Recon front and rear Rubicon axles. I gotta tell you, when you're a Jeep owner, when you're growing up with these Jeeps, the biggest dream that you have is swapping some axles axles in. So Ryan's got everything dialed in, including the stock CV shafts. Everything on the Extreme Recon axles, front and rear, is working, and the lockers are all set up to a factory switch using some help from Taser. That is a massive upgrade for this Jeep. It is completely bulletproof underneath and gains a ton of strength both in the front and rear axle when you added those. And I know a lot of guys were talking, hey, you can get an Extreme Recon 2-door or you can get a Rubicon. Why didn't you just get that from factory? The whole point of this was to try and make it budget and work our way up and add pieces as we went, and plus get a build out of it. So one of the kind of in the middle of owning this Jeep we had to do is throw on some front and rear bumpers. I mean, we had to ditch those stock plastic bumpers because they weren't really doing anything. Plus we wanted to mount up a winch on the front bumper. So we went with Motobilt's Crusher front bumper. This is the Crusher HD with the tube. And then on the back, we went with their Crusher rear bumper too with light cutouts. Had them powder coated in this anthracite crinkle coat here, and then dropped a Badland 12,000 pound winch, which we just used about a week ago up at AOA. This winch works fantastic. And the one thing I keep saying to Ryan is that there's a Harbor Freight almost everywhere in the country. We just passed one down the street. If this winch breaks, get the warranty and go to your local Harbor Freight and get it fixed. The other thing that we've added to this, going on the Motobilt side, is a set of their inner fenders, both front and rear. When we did the chop, we had to swap out the inner fenders, and we also added on a set of the Infinite Off-Road front Highline lights, so that gives us all of our turn signals and our lights on the front. Threw in some diode dynamics down below, some D-rings front and rear, and then we just actually threw a hitch on the back too. All right guys, I think that's enough of me talking about the Jeep. I like all the parts on this just because I enjoy the build aspect. So building a fresh Jeep like this is very inspiring to see what you can do, especially with the 2-door. It's a cool platform for us. But that's enough of me talking. Ryan, the owner of this Jeep, is going to get in, take it for a spin, and give you guys his review after a year. So Ryan, I'm going to snap my fingers and I'm going to let you hop into this Jeep.
It's been an absolute journey. I love driving this thing. Matt will attest. I go out and I drive for sometimes an hour a night, just listening to music, cruising with the doors off. That is what I like using my Jeep for. I run the doors and top off 95% of the time. Once summer hits, these puppies are off. Doors are off. I got the foot pegs in, and yeah, I just cruise. I drive this thing a lot. Close to 18,000 now that we're back from Tennessee. As far as the way it drives though, no complaints, no complaints. Especially when I got the new axles on this thing, it just kind of has more pep. This thing flies. I feel like I'm gonna be doing a wheelie if I hit it too hard. But yeah, this is why I love this Jeep. I just am out here driving around, recording this video, and this is fun for me. This is what I like to do with it. Right now I'm averaging close to 19.5 miles per gallon. I've been going back and forth with the regular gas and then like the 93 Premium with this engine just to kind of see like what is the difference. I do notice when I don't have the 93 in, I will get the service performance indicator on the dash. When I'm running 93 though, it never seems to show me that. Yeah, this has been a journey. Driving this for a year, being able to put parts on it that I never could have imagined, doing videos on the content, like my whole Jeep is on the channel, and that's the coolest part about it for me, is I get to put my creative flair to videos that have my Jeep in it. That's so cool. Some of my favorite mods to this, I mean, I can't lie guys, the MB Court audio system that we just put in this, which the video's coming, I have to edit it. The audio sounds incredible. I would turn it up right now and it would sound so crisp. Maybe I'm gonna get some shots for that video, so stay tuned for that. But it just sounds so good, and that's definitely one of my favorite mods so far. We got it all dialed in. So future plans, I need to get a hard top. I would absolutely love to get a tan soft top. So anybody with a JL like tan soft top 2-door, which has got to be super rare, I'm looking for one. And I kind of am looking for the factory top. I don't really want to go aftermarket. Like there's some great aftermarket tops out there, but I just want the factory OEM top. If it's out there somewhere, please send us a message if you have one. Looking to get a hardtop too. I know we're in talks with a few people that might want to give it away. We're talking to you. You know who I'm talking about. But we're waiting to see what their plans are. I'm just so glad to have everybody a part of the journey of building this Jeep. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to build it for the channel and being able to have a whole catalog of videos on this Jeep from start to finish. So I can always look back and see what we did in the past and how this Jeep was fully built up, but it's just a nice showcase to have.
On today's viewer rig of the video, we're checking out Tim's 2023 AEV JL370 Wrangler Rubicon. This one's finished up in the pumpkin orange, and he actually has a custom plate on it that says the Great Pumpkin. I'm sure that's reminiscent to the, I believe that's, who is that? The Charlie Brown when he did the Halloween special, the Great Pumpkin. So he's got a beautiful Jeep here. It looks like a set of 37s or even 40s on the thing. It looks absolutely awesome. Got some work done to it. The AEV full JL370 kit. Looks like some Rockslide engineer steps. And then obviously just a beautiful Jeep to start off with. Tim, thank you so much for subscribing. He actually said he was fans of our channel for a long time, even before we started it. So thank you so much for following along for so long. If you guys want to have a chance at your rig being featured, be sure to hit us up through Instagram or send us an email. It is right now to the day 1 year anniversary of having this Jeep, and I'm pretty pumped about how far it's come. It took 1 year to build it up to this point, and I know some of you guys at home might say, wow, in a year you should have this thing on 40s and portals and 1 ton and LS swapped, but it took a year to get it dialed in exactly the way that Ryan wanted it. And that doesn't mean it's done by any means. We've got so many parts on this thing, but there's always room for improvements. Ryan's been talking about maybe throwing on a hardtop. Who knows, maybe we'll get a color matched one. Throwing on a Mojave hood or a 392 hood, adding some more exterior color matched parts, or maybe just changing up some of the accents on the inside. There's a lot more that you can do to a Jeep. Fortunately, Ryan likes to keep his Wranglers because when I get mine to a certain point like this, I'm almost like, let's start it from scratch and do it again. And that reminds me to another point. We do have a lot of future projects. We're just waiting to see what Jeep is doing. I know we've been talking about the JK project, and I've got my eyes on a couple of them right now. We're waiting to see what Jeep drops here in the future to see if we might be able to get into something new, keep both of our Jeeps, and try out a brand new kind of platform for a build on this channel. We hope you guys like this one. What I want you to do is drop a comment down below. What's your favorite part about this build, or what do you think Ryan should do next when it comes to mods on the Jeep? If you have a creative idea, but drop it down below in the comments. We'd love to chat with you guys. Until next time though, we're down at the Smoky Mountains. We're gonna go enjoy this beautiful weather. My name's Matt, Ryan's behind the camera, and we want you to get out there and earn yours.